Welcome to Wright Media's coverage of the Weatherford Chamber of Commerce Mayoral Forum, featuring Mike Brown, Robbie Pinner, and Dusty Hayes. Our coverage is sponsored by CJ Southwest Tire, JC Cowboys, True Vision Optometric Group, and the Weatherford Chamber of Commerce. And now, tonight's moderator, Jeff Barong.
On behalf of the Weatherford Area Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to welcome all of you to tonight's candidate forum for the upcoming mayoral election. I'd also like to welcome everyone who is watching online or listening on the radio. Thanks to our media partners, this forum is being live streamed in its entirety by the Weatherford Daily News on their Facebook page and by Wright Broadcasting on WBS TV at Wright.media. It's also being broadcast on the radio at News Talk KCLI 99.3 FM. The mayoral election takes place 2 weeks from today, on Tuesday, August 27th. All registered voters who reside within the city limits of Weatherford are eligible to vote. If no candidate receives an outright majority in the election, the top two finishers will advance to a second-round runoff on November 5th. The winner will be elected to serve a 3-year term. I'm Jeff Barong, co-chair of the Chamber's Public Affairs Committee, and I'll be your moderator for the evening. I'd also like to recognize my committee co-chair, Gary Mall, down there in the front, who will be our timekeeper tonight. And then also want to recognize our chamber director, Kim Silman. Where are you, Kim? Somewhere, there she is. And her able assistant, Lauren Clark. So thank you both for your help in getting this put together. And at this time, I'd like to welcome our candidates, Mike Brown, Dustin Hayes, and Robbie Pinner. Thank you, all three of you, for being here tonight and letting us have this opportunity. And I'd also like to thank members of the public. We did something we haven't done a little while this time around, and we opened it up for questions to be submitted beforehand. And so we got a number of questions, and for those of you who submitted questions, thank you. I hope you'll be able to see some of that incorporated into the questions that are asked throughout the evening. And before we begin, I'd like to go over the rules real quickly. The candidates already know them, but just for the audience, each candidate is allowed a 1-minute introduction. We did a drawing before the forum here to determine the order of both the introductions and conclusions. Each candidate will have the 1-minute introduction. Following the introduction, each question will be addressed to each candidate, and with every question, we will alternate which candidate answers first. Each candidate will have up to 2 minutes to answer each question. None of the candidates has prior knowledge of any of the questions. After the questioning period, each candidate will be given 2 minutes for closing remarks. Gary will be keeping time, and when you only have 20 seconds left, he's going to hold up this yellow card right there. That means wrap it up. When your time is up, he'll hold up a red card, and I'll let you finish your sentence. And unless it's a filibuster sentence, in which case we do cloture and we cut that off, the moderator. But anyway, so those are the rules, and I would ask that the audience remain respectful throughout the forum, and please save all applause until after all the candidates have made their closing statements. And Garrett King is walking in late. This is the third forum in a row that you've walked in late. You're taking a page out of my book. Let's begin with that. So again, we had our order of drawings for our opening statements, and our first person is Robbie Pinner. 1 minute, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for showing up. Pretty much decided to run for mayor because I've always believed in Weatherford, and Weatherford's always been my home. And I believe in Weatherford, and I feel like I can basically do a lot for Weatherford since I have a plumbing background, electrical background, a construction background, and I also been working in the oil field industry for the last 16 years. And it's basically all the inners are basically how the city functions. That's about it.
Thank you. Mike Brown, introduction.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Mike Brown, and I currently serve as the mayor for the city of Weatherford. Like my opponents, I grew up here in Weatherford, graduating from Weatherford High School as well as Southwestern Oklahoma State University. My wife Debbie and I have been married for 46 years, raised our 2 children, Matt Brown and Morgan Schulhoff, who also both graduated from Weatherford High School and Southwestern. My hobbies are 6 grandchildren, going to ball games, working in the yard and garden, and attending events. Things I like to do but don't have time for are fishing, hunting, pickleball, golf, garage sales, and traveling, in which my wife reminds me we need to do more of. I've served as mayor for the past 21 years. Prior to that, I served as city commissioner for 8 years. I feel that my experience is the difference between myself and my opponents. If reelected, I pledge to continue to serve the people of this community, doing what's right for the majority of the constituents, being progressive, maintaining a safe community, and promoting Weatherford as a great place to live, work, and raise a family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Dustin.
Once again, thank you, everybody, for coming, everybody listening online. My name is Dustin Hayes. I'm 37, lived in Weatherford 30-plus years. Married to the same great woman for 17 years, got an 8-year-old son, attends Weatherford Public Schools, plays baseball, all the sports you can think of here in town. I'm a veteran, Marine Corps veteran, also law enforcement, which I've been in state government and federal government, which I feel is something that gives me an advantage as well. I've been asked a lot why I'm running. One of the big reasons that I'm looking at is it's time for a change, all right? It's time for my generation to step in and hopefully take the town, to the next level. We need to be given the chance. How can the town ever change if we're not given a chance for the next generation?
Thank you. And at this point, we'll go into the question phase of the night, and we will start. Again, we'll alternate who goes first with each question. We're going to start with Mike Brown. The first question, and this was from the public, kind of a philosophical question, and that is, what do you think the citizens of Weatherford are looking for from city government and from their mayor?
Well, the first thing that I would say is that people want to live in a safe community. Naturally, we try to provide all of the basic services. They want to make sure they've got water, sewer, somebody's picking up the trash, doing all of those things. But, I think that we all take a lot of pride in this community. And, we hear all the time that we're a clean city. We're a safe city. We're, a place that people come to shop and go to activities. And so, I think most people, that's what they're looking for, is a place they can raise their family or maybe retire here, a place that they can call home and not have to worry about the things going on in the larger cities.
Thank you. Dustin, same question.
So I think the citizens are looking for somebody to hear their voices. Weatherford is a great city. It was built on your taxpayer money. The quality of life in Weatherford, that's what we're looking for. We're looking to keep the quality of life. We want to keep it strong and vibrant. I believe every citizen would agree with that. The whole thing is the mayor is in charge of all the employees, but at the same time, they're responsible. They're a public servant to the citizens of the community. So we got to let their voices be heard. We got to continue to grow the city. Once again, the younger generation is where we need to come in, take advantage of that, just be given the opportunity to help make those changes, be a listening ear for the citizens.
Thank you. Robbie.
Man, getting out on the streets and talking to a lot of people around Weatherford, a lot of people have come to concern and brought concerns to me about that. A lot of them, I'll be honest, a lot of them aren't happy with the current policing that's going on in Weatherford. And that's been a concern for them. They felt like they're being followed all around town. I know a lot of people have talked about they don't like going out after 9:30 in Weatherford. And my dad always told me nothing good happens after midnight, but I don't understand why 9:30 is now nobody wants to get out around Weatherford. Other things I've noticed people brought concerns about is basically water. I mean, the shedding of water on the streets. I've noticed some of the streets are starting to have like 7th Street. I know back in the day, Southwestern, that used to be the practice field where now the Pioneer Event Center is. Then you turn around and have the football field. Now it's turf. Then the baseball field used to be right next door. Well, they turned around and they started replacing, concrete and roofs with grass, and you can't soak it up anymore. So now that water's being diverted. So it felt like the hole opened up down there at Zoller Ford. There's been other issues on 7th Street. it seems to be that some other streets in Weatherford that are starting to look like they have some issues that could possibly come up in the future. I've also heard citizens are concerned about water pressure in Weatherford. I'm starting to wonder, our water lines, it's been a long time since our water line's been looked at. I don't know when the last time everything was tested. It would like to know that. And with the closing on it, a lot of other concerns are about the parks. The parks, a lot of people have stressed about the parks. Quick, simple, touch-up fixes, and it's not getting done. That's it.
Okay. Next question, and the first person we'll go to is Dustin. How many city commission meetings do you think you've previously attended, and is there anything you would like to see changed about how the meetings are conducted?
I'll be straight up. I've watched online. I wouldn't say I've attended hundreds of meetings by any means. I don't believe that's what makes a leader a great leader, okay? Going to city commission meetings, obviously I have a job, just like most of y'all. You were able to make it here because we started at 6:30 instead of in the morning or moved it to 5:15. We got to accommodate the citizens in all of this. Weatherford's a big education town. So teachers with the college, their students may leave at 3:30, but they're there till 6 o'clock every night. The important people need to be able to make the meetings. We're just not able to do that. So no, I haven't made a whole bunch of meetings. I've watched multiple online. I think as far as structure of them, people just aren't showing up. If people will show up, they have the option to talk before the meeting. Once they voice their concerns, there's different things you have to run by as the state, saying how the meetings have to be conducted. So we get people here, we hear their voices. That's what I got on that one.
Thank you. Robbie, same question. How many city commissions meetings do you think you previously attended? Is there anything you would like to see changed about how the meetings are conducted?
Well, years ago, I started off and went to a few commission meetings, and I was like, oh, okay. And then actually I started attending back in probably January. I started coming to every commission meeting. And that's when I got involved. Carolyn, I got her my email. She sends me what's going to go on the agenda. And I felt like I only get that two to 3 days before. And when the meetings are actually going on, I feel like there's no discussion. They just talk about what's going to basically, I can't even think of it right now, what the agenda is, and there's no discussion of them. And they turn around and all of a sudden they go, aye. It's always an aye. There's every once in a while they'll table. I know they've tabled the YMCA and the memorandum on that until they got basically the verbiage right and everything like that. But I would like to see more transparency in local government. I would like to see, if you're going to have a council meeting, let's start getting more people involved. Let's get that agenda out a month before, so if people are concerned, they can go and talk to their city ward commissioners and try and set things up. And that's how you get the community more involved. They really don't know what's going on. And that's where I feel we're lacking there on that. And they talked about, the city pool. The city pool was a big deal for a lot of people. Well, all of a sudden I hear, we've been talking about it for 2 years. Okay, I understand that. But has it been getting out to the public for 2 years? That's where I'm at. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Mike, same question.
Well, as I mentioned, I was on the city commission for 8 years, and I've been the mayor for 21 years. So, a quick addition. That's 345 meetings. I did miss one, so I've only been to 344 meetings, and I've been there. We've done, a meeting at about every time that you can ask for. We've times when we've had them in the morning, 8 o'clock. We've had times that were 3:30 in the afternoon. We've had 7 in the evening. Now we're at 5:15. We've done that when somebody comes to us and said, "Hey, it doesn't work." As far as time-wise, we've considered it and actually made a change. What you find is about the same number of people showing up, different people because of the times. But, they're, unless we have a big issue, there's not a big crowd. I think that one of the things that I've actually had criticism is I do allow people to speak. Anytime that somebody comes here and raises their hand, they have the opportunity to talk. And a lot of communities, you have to sign up prior to, you have to put what's on the agenda that you want to talk about, and you're limited to a 1 minute or 3 minute response. Never in my career have we put a time limit on it. We've allowed people to talk and give their opinion. If it's not on the agenda, we may not be able to take action, but they can be heard. So, I feel like that's something that I've always taken a lot of pride in. I feel like people should have the opportunity to express themselves, whether it's something good, bad, or indifferent. Most times, if people have a chance to at least talk about it, they feel better about it. So, that's the kind of the way that I've always looked at it. As far as the swimming pool goes, for 10 years, I've been fighting to keep that thing open. There's been people all along that said we need to shut it down, but it was costing the city $50,000 a year, and we just continued, but got to a place where we couldn't do it anymore.
Thank you. Next question, and it will first go to Robbie. The city of Weatherford has an annual budget of nearly $21 million. What is your management or business experience that you, as a candidate for mayor, feel would be an asset to overseeing the city of Weatherford's operations?
Well, first of all, I grew up son of a plumber, Robert Penner, and he had his own private business, and he ran a plumbing business in Weatherford for a long time. Yeah, he had a servant's heart and he gave a lot to the community, but I noticed he was wanting me to take over years ago, but they had never give up the reins. So then I turned around and decided to branch off into the oil field. And as then, I started off on a bumper working, and then now I'm an EIC, which is the engineer in charge. I oversee Western Oklahoma and our group of guys that's going on. Our business, the company that I work for, is basically a billion-dollar company. Oklahoma, when Oklahoma oil field industry was going good, we were at least $2 to $3 million a month that we were revenue that we were bringing in. I was trained, the way I look at it, by one of the best men to train me about that, so it was easy to oversee it. We always looked at the numbers, we always saw what was going on, and still today we still put in bids to try and keep our company alive in Weatherford, even though the oil field is struggling right now. So that's basically, I've been running numbers for years. I'm in management now. I figured might as well look into Weatherford. That's it.
Mike, same question. Yes, sir. The city of Weatherford has an annual budget of nearly $21 million. What is your management or business experience that you, as a candidate for mayor, feel would be an asset to overseeing the city of Weatherford's operations?
Well, naturally, with the experience of being here for 21 years as the mayor, fortunately, we have a great city treasurer. Microphone. Okay, sorry. The 21 years here probably gives me a little advantage as far as knowing about the budget. We have a great city treasurer in Dana Ratcliffe and a great city clerk in Carolyn Sanders. We use a lot of history in determining what the budget is going to be for the next year. Naturally, the majority of our budget is made up from salaries from employees. We do try to have some items that, for capital improvements that we're able to, add to that budget. We have to have a balanced budget. If there's something that goes over, we have to, go in and actually have that approved, as far as anything that we overspend on. So, we try to manage that budget. As far as the style, I would say that we would continue doing things the way that we've done it for the last 21 years that I've been involved. It's continued to work. The budget has grown a lot over those. I looked at sales tax back in 1996 when I started. Sales tax that we received was about $3 million. Today, or last year, it was $13 million. So it's a little bit different than what it was years ago. But I think we've got some of the finest equipment within the city for our police and fire, because we do recognize that's a very important to have people that have a good working space as well as good equipment. And so we continue to try to identify identify the needs within the city and try to meet those by, setting dollars aside to improve really a job place for the people that work here.
Thank you. Dustin, same question.
As far as leadership goes, obviously being in the military, I served in Iraq and Afghanistan. I had hundreds of Marines under me in both areas, as well as worked on the supply chain to get supplies to us where we were. As far as the budget goes as city, obviously neither one of us up here have had to deal with that. We don't have 21 years in service to be able to figure that out. But until the torch is passed and somebody else comes in, we're going to have the same problem with a newcomer coming in. If anybody goes to a new profession and all of a sudden knows how to do it, they're awesome for one. But there should be stuff put in place in the city. There's people in place of different departments, everything like that, that should be able to help out in those situations. Obviously, I haven't ever managed a $21 million budget. I've managed quadruple that in the military. So as far as that goes, that's all I got on that one.
Thank you. Next question goes to, are we back at Mike? I think so, yeah. So much of success is about imitating the best practices of others rather than reinventing the wheel. With that in mind, is there anything you would like to see happen in Weatherford that you think other cities are doing a good job with?
Well, I think that we're not afraid to steal somebody's good idea. And I think that one of the things that's made Weatherford really stand out is, we've had some great partnerships. We've partnered with the university, the public school. We've been good as far as getting grants for our city. So, I think that a lot of cities look to us as far as we had the opportunity to host all the Oklahoma mayors and this summer, and they couldn't understand how we were able to get the things that we had. And so, I think that other cities are kind of looking to us as far as what we've done. We also look to the larger cities. We talk about the Yes Weatherford programs that we've had. That was basically right from the MAPS project in Oklahoma City. Same thing. If you build it, it's great for the people that live here, but it also attracts others. So, I think that we're always open to new ideas. We're always trying to improve. I say it all the time. The easiest thing is to do nothing. Just sit there and be content. We're not like that. We're going to try new stuff. We're going to try to, bring new industry. We're going to try to do things that, will generate jobs and make it better for the people that live here.
Thank you. Dustin, same question. So much of success is about imitating the best practices of others rather than reinventing the wheel. With that in mind, is there anything you would like to see happen in Weatherford that you think other cities are doing a good job with?
I believe in looking into the other cities. If the other cities are doing something that's successful and they're the same population as we are, it would be ignorant not to try to implement some of those. One, for tax money reasons. But talking about the mayors coming to our city, they loved it. It was built on your tax money. Remember that. So as far as we're going forward, stuff does cost money. Okay, so we have to find new revenues to bring tax money to the city. We can't just sit here stagnant and not build what the people want. I see other cities have stuff that people complain about every day. Hey, I wish we had this in Weatherford. I wish we have this. Saying that stuff's getting brought in and built, but I haven't seen anything that is significant that the people were wanting. Yes, we got a new Y coming in, but where's the activities for the families? Where's stuff like that we can capitalize on that I see in other cities that Weatherford could have? A lot of people do look to Weatherford. We got a great city, a wonderful city. I love to be here, but we can take some info off of these other big cities and try to implement it here.
Robbie, same question. If I need to repeat it, just tell me. Okay.
I personally want to stand out. I want other cities to look at Weatherford and see what we're doing. There's a reason why that I'm going back to the Frontier days when Weatherford was founded. Beats Eric. He come to Weatherford and he saw something. Okay, the railroad's coming in and things like that. They made Clinton the hub. Clinton started growing, but hey, 1936, they built an Olympic-sized swimming pool in Weatherford, and they had a women's college in the early 1900s. Weatherford was standing out. I want Weatherford to continue to stand out. I want to find ways where other cities like, wow, how are you getting this done? You know, I also look at Weatherford as not just Weatherford anymore. We are also expanded into the rural communities because a lot of the rural communities are starting to, basically, they're decreasing. And people have to come here. Our biggest probably sales tax that we get is from Walmart because everybody goes to Walmart. And I just look at Weatherford could really stand out. There's a lot of things that we could look at. And I just looked at it, and it got me on to Beats Eric because at 1024 North Caddo, that was his house, and I purchased that. That was the first house that I actually owned in Weatherford, Oklahoma. And I had a man named John Donnelly come to me when I was remodeling that house. And he was wanting me to put that house on the National Historical Society. I didn't listen. I turned around and I made that house the way I wanted it for the family at the time. And we turned around, and I wish now that I would have went back and restored that house to the former glory, because that was a man that left Weatherford, he did his job, and he also went out and founded the town of Eric, Oklahoma. Well, Eric, Oklahoma is obviously 7 miles from the state line. It's never really progressed, but Weatherford has always progressed. I want Weatherford to stand out. That's it.
Thank you. The next question will go to Dustin first. One of the most serious problems of our time is the rampant spreading of misinformation, rumors, and lies, especially on social media. Having said this, what news sources do you go to for your information, and how do you try to verify the accuracy of what you're reading or listening to?
Everybody's on Facebook. Everybody sees everybody grappling on Facebook, what's real, what's not. I believe the paper is one of the most trusted sources of news for local news. They get out, they do the legwork for you, so when you go to read it, you're not having to decide. I also believe being in transparency as far as stuff with the city, people spreading rumors. We got to step up our social media game as far as getting out. There's a mayor up in Miami, Oklahoma, who does multiple live videos a week. It keeps the people knowing what's going on instead of one citizen saying, hey, I heard they were going to demolish City Hall and put a Cracker Barrel there. No, the person's able to go in. You know, if I'm the mayor, I'll be on there a couple times a month. Hey, look, this is what's going on. It stops the rumor mill. The rumor mill's got to stop. Eventually it will. But we got to look at the avenues of the paper, right radio, broadcasting, and social media is huge. I'd say 75% of the people in this room right now are on social media. So live videos will help combat that.
Thank you, Robbie. Same question.
Could you repeat that?
Yes. One of the most serious problems of our time is the rampant spreading of misinformation, rumors, and lies, especially on social media. Having said this, what news sources do you go to for your information, and how do you try to verify the accuracy of what you're reading or listening to?
I tend to look at about every news source, and I collect my own opinion on what's actually going on, you know. Kind of like on an interview with the Weatherford Daily News. What kind of got me involved in this is because I heard a rumor that a guy was going to run for mayor. So I happened to see him at an eating establishment, and I went in and talked to him. He told me no, he wasn't going to run for mayor. I went straight to the source. That's pretty much it. Go straight to the source. The news is great. I mean, social media, yes, that is a huge thing, but I also know with social media, people don't get involved in the community. They don't get out. Get out, talk to your neighbors, see what's going on. See what we can do, change. Come up to City Hall. Don't be scared to talk to the mayor. Don't be scared to talk to the water department. Don't be scared to talk to the sanitary department, street department. Get out and go talk to them. I mean, they can't eat you. It's the way I look at it in a nutshell. I mean, you could probably get in an argument, but just calmer heads always prevail. And that's about it.
Thank you. Mike,
Well, I'm a local guy, so I listen to the local radio station every morning. When I get up, I listen for an hour or so, and then anytime I'm in the car, I listen to that. I read the local paper. People ask me, where do you get your information? Well, that's probably two of the sources. Have the opportunity to go to a lot of things. So when I'm there, I get the opportunity to actually talk to people, and that's probably how I verify my information. I think we're fortunate to have local news sources here in our community. And, I'm not a social media guy. And, I don't know if I'd apologize or stand up here and, wave my hand. But, I understand, how people use it. It can be, used for great things, or it can be used to hurt you. And so, I just believe in, as Robbie mentioned, to, go to the source, talk to the people that have a concern. I've always been an open door guy, and, felt like I was always transparent. If you've got a question, you ask me, and I'll tell you what I know. I talk to a lot of different groups, every month, and I tell them everything I know. Anything that's going on within the city. I talk to the Pioneer Center. I talk to civic groups. We have of course, monthly meetings. There's just like tonight, we had planning and zoning have a board of adjustment. I try to attend those meetings to find out kind of the details of what's going on. But it's not hard in a town like Weatherford to verify the information. There's a lot of things out there that aren't true, but that's one of those that you just have to go with it, and that's just kind of life today, I guess.
Thank you. The next question will go to Robbie Penner first. List the 2 or 3 most urgent needs or projects you would like to see the city address during your term in office over the next 3 years, should you be elected.
The first 2 or 3 projects, man, I know they stepped up their game in the LiDAR system. I would like to actually get a company with the LiDAR that could come out and see if there is any voids on the streets that are causing concerns. Maybe, hopefully, prevent another sinkhole. Other things I've noticed, people have asked for more actually sidewalks, and we could go around and talk with them and probably try and see where we could add some sidewalks and things like that. Get more people out, get them, out walking around, and let them be able to come to us. Third, man, it's just trying to, like I said, industry. We need to get some industry. Even though Weatherford, when they started out, they had a brick company, they had a cement company, and they also had a broom factory. And I thought that was pretty cool. And I look out, and I'm out there in the industrial park. I see PSO, I see, Arkla Gas, their service providers, things like that. They move from one area in Weatherford to another area of Weatherford. Out there in industrial park, mostly that I see is the oil and gas community. And if tomorrow they shut that down, I know they won't, but they're trying. We have nothing else. And it would be hard, and people's going to have to move. A lot of guys right now that used to work in Oklahoma all the time, back in 2018, man, we had 168 rigs running in Oklahoma. It was nice. Everybody's eating good. We had over 180 employees in Weatherford. These guys, I think we had about 21 apartments in Weatherford. And these guys were traveling. They were spending their money in Weatherford. And that's something has decreased. So I'd like to check into other industries, try and get them in, try and get more manufacturing, something to where we can bring people to Weatherford. That's it.
Mike, list the 2 or 3 most urgent needs or projects you would like to see the city address during your term in office over the next 3 years, should you be elected.
Well, my deal is a little bit different. We've got about, the list is long of projects that we have, and there's several that are coming up over the next 2 or 3 years. Think about the new community center with the indoor and outdoor aquatics that'll be operated by the YMCA. That's going to take some time. We're doing the signage for the Route 66, celebration coming up here in about a year and a half, so a lot of time being put on that. The streets are always an issue, I'll tell you, 7th Street is one that is going to have to be dealt with in the future. It's something to be like another Lyle Road. It's going to be take a lot of money and a lot of time. So, but it's aging infrastructure. We recognize that. We put about $2 million a year towards roads. Right now we're in the process of finishing up all the side roads off of Lyle, as well as the roads north of East Elementary, East Intermediate. So we're trying to address some of those street needs. But like I said, the list is always long as far as things that we need to do to improve the city. I think that we're in good shape on water. We pump about 4.5 million gallons a day right now. We have the capabilities of about 8 million gallons a day. Our wastewater treatment plant, we're upgrading that again to be able to handle over 20,000 people. We're looking at all of our recreation things, trying to make sure that we're competitive. So there's a lot of things that are day to day that we're trying to improve. And so, I'd say right now, probably the things that I'd want to focus on would be the community center, maybe 7th Street in the future, as well as continue to improve the streets around town.
Thank you. Dustin.
I'll be on with both of them. One of the big things we need to look at is the streets, finishing the projects that we have going already. It's hard to get people to come into town if the roads are completely tore out. If we got 2 exits being worked on out of the 3 exits that come into town, it deters people from coming into town. Our taxes are down right now. So we have to set the priorities. And it's not just based on what I want as a mayor. It's based on what do we want as a community. Listen to the voices of the people. If the people are saying, hey, we got the roads finished, let's work on getting some sort of center for kids and families to be able to do something during the day, vice versa, getting in trouble. Once we can get that set, we can move forward. We obviously have big projects coming up the next couple of years. You heard Mike talk about it. We're going to have to finish those projects, but we got to find new ways to get tax revenue into the city. We can't build stuff without taxes, obviously. So that's going to be a big issue. I propose that we look at running a 73096 vote, which is going to spread out to everybody that lives in the zip code of 73096 is going to be able to vote. There's people that work here, they spend all their money here, their kids go to school here, and they're unable to vote in a mayoral election, okay? They're not going to be annexed into the city, but it'll add a couple more commissioners on the board, plus we will gain all the tax revenue off of them from any online sales that they get, anything they buy off Amazon, and then they'll get to vote. Now, that's going to be a vote of itself. The people got to want to be able to do that first, but I feel like that's a solid way that I've been told that we can help raise some tax revenue in the city to get these projects done.
The next question, we'll go back to Mike. Weatherford's economic and cultural life is closely intertwined with its largest employer, Southwestern Oklahoma State University. As mayor, how will you work to ensure a positive, productive working relationship with the university?
Well, there's no question. The university is our number one employer. That's the biggest industry that we have in this community. Fortunately, we've always had a great relationship, a great partnership with the university. It starts with the president. We've had a lot of folks in the past that have been willing to think about this city as a whole, not just about the university. We've got Dr. Hibbler here, and I think of Dr. Hayes and Randy Butler and now Dr. Lovell. They all understand that we both need each other, and so we try to help each other when we can. If there's an issue that comes up, it's top priority if it's for the university. I think of the partnerships that we've had with the building of the Pioneer Event Center. That was something that was paid for by the people in this room, as well as the students that worked at the university, as well as the university itself, and then a corporate sponsor. We benefit from that every day because there's a lot of events in there. I also think about the new rural health center that's going to double the size of the pharmacy school. That's money that we're putting into the university university, there's people that say, hey, that's crazy. You shouldn't be giving up any of your sales tax to help the university or the public school or the hospital. But to me, those are the most important things in this community. That's what, that's what we're all about. So, I think that we just have to continue to try to work with the university, try to, be ambassadors for them and vice versa when they, just this week as the students roll into town, I always tell people the best thing that those students do is spend money. And so, when they come to town, that's a big economic impact for our community.
Thank you. Dustin, same question.
I believe the college, we got to have a good working relationship with them. Like Mike said, when the kids come back, the tax money's coming. We have to be able to support the college. We have to be able to support our schools. Education is the biggest leading factor for Weatherford. Most of the employees in Weatherford are teachers. They work at the schools. So we have to find a way to fund that. We have to find a way to help Southwestern if they need help. It does bring people in. If Southwestern comes and says, hey, do you think you can help us with something out at Crowder Lake? Yeah, as a city, let's help them. Not only does it benefit the citizens of the city to be able to go out there and use it, but it's going to bring a whole bunch of other people into town. So the relationship's got to be good, hands down. It's going to raise tax revenue. Unfortunately, your tax money does go to it, but we also benefit from it as well. So,
Robbie, same question.
Well, I graduated from Southwestern in 2006, and man, I learned a lot while I was there, and honestly, I partied a lot while I was there. But I also worked down there at Crowder Lake, and I also noticed they've always kind of implemented some other things, and they're always growing as well. They're always looking for the next thing. I noticed they put basically a law enforcement kind of a degree in there, kind of in a way, a park law. They also did basically a wildland fire management, which I was doing my internship back in 2005, and the wildland fire management, I worked for the BIA in Weatherford, Oklahoma. We were stationed out of Weatherford. We had one in Watonga as well. Well, they were able to allow me to do my internship, which I loved it because, heck, it was a government job, and they were giving me $17 an hour to run a fire truck. I thought it was a cool deal. But I felt like I've always had a good relationship with the college. I know over the years, every once in a while, I'll go up there and talk to them. I tend to talk to the Park and Recs area with Chad Kinder and Haggard and all those. I've never really stepped in. I remember Ken Rose. He always did great things for Southwestern. Dr. Hayes, man, he was a great guy. I played golf with him a few times, but it was never in Weatherford. But it was always fun because he ran around with Kyle Hildebrand's father, and we'd always meet up every once in a while. So since it is the largest employer, we do need to have a good relationship, and I'd like to continue and see what we can do. Possibly, I know I've heard concerns about the pool that's up there at Southwestern. I heard some windows are broken out and got plywood over them. Maybe that's something can be addressed as well. That's it.
And with the next question, we'll go to Dustin first. Weatherford is fortunate to have many long-standing public parks that are geared toward family and children. What, if any, updates or maintenance improvements would you like to see to the playground equipment and park areas?
Obviously, that was a hot ticket item. The last couple days, the last couple weeks was the parks. We have to provide a safe environment for our children to play at the parks. We really do. We have a Parks and Rec department here. Obviously, there may have been some miscommunication here and there. Who knows? But we got to get out there. We got to see the facilities. We got to invest a little money if we have to. If we can't afford it at that time and there's something broken, we need to pull it out. We got to get it out of there. We can't have kids getting hurt at a park. It's just, it's absurd. We can't let that happen. I hope we can keep the parks good, even if we got to start some sort of committee. If we have citizens that are like, hey, we're willing to go around, we're willing to donate our time to help paint, we're willing to donate our time to help fix these items. I believe the citizens of Weatherford love the city. They'll get out and help us if we need help. That's all I got.
Robbie, what, if any, updates or maintenance improvements would you like to see in the playground equipment and park areas?
Well, I've noticed the park areas, they've been neglected over the years. I know some stuff, when some of the parks, just because I worked in the industry, I noticed some of the little, they're kind of like the gazebo style, the old ones down there at Means Park. I think some of that stuff was donated from American Coastal back in the day, the little piping that was for the little awnings that people can picnic under. But I've also noticed trees that are in the area that need to be addressed. I mean, there's some dead limbs hanging up there and things like that. Something comes off, comes loose, falls down, hits somebody. I mean, when I worked in the forestry industry, it was called a widowmaker. It killed you. I mean, it took you out. I noticed also some of the swings needed to be addressed. I noticed there's some concrete, things like that. But to start it off, I mean, a simple walkthrough, I mean, once a week. I mean, people are out there. You're mowing it during the summertime. Just, heck, I'd get up early and just drive down there and walk through each park, and just see, like, hey, man, and make a list and see what needs to be addressed. Little simple things. Just make it down, turn around and go talk, to the Park and Recs department and say, hey, where are we at right now? What can we do? What can we address? Can we do this? I know some painting, Clark and Means Park. I mean, they put the little concrete structures up that has the plaque on there that tells you which park it is. I mean, paint it, touch it up. I mean, it could easily be done, but also it'd be nice if the community, I mean, we can all get involved. We can all show up one day and do cleanup. I mean, I've noticed some trash on certain things. I even noticed out at the current splash pad that we have, there's drainage that's going around there. I don't understand why they haven't kind of got a power washer over there and kind of cleaned out around the drainage and kind of get the dirt. I know it's a little work, but hey, lifeguard shows up a little early, give them a little bit more time, and they can clean it up, sweep it up. That's it.
Thank you. The next question.
Did I answer that?
Sorry, Mayor. Mike Brown, sorry.
That's fine. I'm going to defend our Parks Department. They've got limited staff. They've got about 8 full-time guys that taking care of 13 parks, and we depend on the public to let us know when something's wrong. I know just like on the one of the piece of equipment last week. Somebody saw something. It was on Facebook. Now, nobody had told us. As soon as we found out about it, they fixed it the next day. Same way I get calls, people at the old fishing hole, maybe a plank on the, is up and that needs to be fixed. They go out that day and fix it. So they're pretty responsive to whatever comes up. We've got a lot of people that make use of our parks, and we're thankful for that. We feel like we're a family friendly. We try to encourage people to use our parks, and I think of the old fishing hole that we stock that with trout each fall, and people are able to go out there and do that trout fishing. We've got the disc golf. We've got the each one of these playgrounds that are that are good. They're not great. Some of them are aging. Just of course completed the one out the new park at the Shooting Star Park. Everything's about money. That new park was $500,000 is what the equipment cost for that park. So it's not something that you're able just to go out there and say, hey, we're going to put this new playground equipment in. Everything costs money, and so we try to identify areas that need improved and try to do that the best that we can as far as with the money that we have to spend. But we certainly need people to tell us when there's something that's not right or that needs attention. Where those guys are working every day, and so we know that we don't have to worry about guys sitting around. They've got plenty to do. So just let us know, and we'll try to take care of it.
Thank you, Mike. Sorry about that. The moderator needs to get his act together here. Next question, we're going to start with Robbie. When it comes to economic development, what do you think the city is doing right, and what do you think it could be doing better?
That's kind of an actual tough question. But it's good though. Economic development, I haven't really heard of anything that's really. I heard there's a prospect about coming in to Weatherford, but I haven't really seen anything. I think what we could do better is possibly try and get out and get some people that, man, I used to travel all over the United States working in the oil field industry and talking with people, and there's so many other industries out there. I mean, the green energy's coming up. Man, we could try and get some feelers out there. A lot of people have contacts. Let's try and utilize those people and possibly see if we could bring something in. I mean, that would be nice. I mean, I know there's a lot of guys right now that are working in South Texas, working in East Texas, working in Pennsylvania. I mean, they're open to ideas and just reaching out to them and see if you can say, hey, you know, you see something in that area that's working, you know, let's go and see if we can branch out and reach out and try and get something pulled in down here into good old western Oklahoma. What was the second part of the question?
Just what do you think the city is doing right, and what do you think it could be doing better as far as economic development?
As in the right, I mean, the city's still plugging along. I mean, they're doing great with what they got. I personally feel like they are. Man, that is a tough one. But I see that, I mean, getting out, I know, man, that's about it.
It's a tough issue in general. Mike, when it comes to economic development, what do you think the city is doing right, and what do you think it could be doing better?
Well, I think the things that we're doing right is we have a full-time economic developer, which is something that most communities our size don't have. They meet on a regular basis as a community, once a month to talk about things that are going on within the economic development field. I think that just this past year we've partnered with a retail attractions that is doing some recruiting of businesses to our community. I think that we'll see the fruits of that labor very soon. Yes, we're always looking for manufacturing. We're looking for distribution. We're looking for things that brings jobs to this community, but everybody else is looking for that too. So that's the tough part, the competition. One of the things that we haven't done, and it's intentional, is we've never given anything away to bring a business here. We might make them a good deal. We have the land out at the industrial park that we may be able to sell them a piece of land cheaper than what they can buy out there on their own. But we want people to come here. I always think about Devon when they located here. Back then, at that time, the price of the land was $12,000 an acre. We'd have given it to them. But it's one of those that they said we want to pay for it because we want to have skin in the game. And so I think that we've taken that and said, hey, we want people that want to be here. We want to make them a good deal. We want to make it as easy as we can for them to do business in our community. But we're always trying to get better. I know that our economic developer tries to attend different meetings that to find out about what's going on. We try to identify what the needs are within the community and try to focus on some of those companies. So it's an ongoing process, and a lot of times it doesn't happen overnight, but you plant a seed, and then hopefully over time you're able to bring those companies to town.
Thank you. Dustin, same question.
Obviously, this question is hard for me and Robbie. Mike's been sitting in this chair for 20 years. He has the experience on economics. All right. So with an economic developer, though, it is a huge benefit for the city. She's able to go out, like you said, attend this stuff. The city is doing a lot of stuff right. I believe they are. They're trying to bring in businesses with our tax money to build. But we do have to give some sort of incentives for these companies to come in, not just giving them a piece of land. Maybe they get a temporary tax cut. There's a lot of different things we can look at. Once again, I'm not a genius on this thing, but talking to an economic developer, getting to the meetings, sitting down with them, figuring it out is where I would start. But once again, I think the city is trying. I do believe that. We live in probably one of the best cities in Oklahoma. The big manufacturing jobs, the reason I believe it's hard to get them here is because they're blue-collar jobs without blue-collar prices of houses. So it's hard to bring them in if they can't have anywhere for their employees to live. So that's a big battle that we're going to face that I think we can look at. But once again, I'm not an expert on the deal. Mike's been sitting here 20 years. That's why he sounds pretty adverse on it.
Thank you all. The next question, we'll start with Mike Brown. What do you think Weatherford can do to better appeal to young professionals who are making decisions whether to move here and to existing residents deciding whether to leave or stay in our community?
Well, I think the first thing is, we can tell people that we do have some of the greatest schools that their kids can be educated in. I'm really proud of the 2 new elementary schools, and so those young families, that's going to be something that is going to mean something to them. We've got a safe community. I tell people, all I am is street smart. I've been on every street in this town growing up, and either walking or on a bicycle, and I think that you don't see that much anymore, but I think that we do have a safe community, and it's one that I think that you don't have to worry quite as much. I think of all the recreation that we have in this community. We've got a great Parks and Recreation department. The YMCA does a great job. We've got a soccer organization. We've got a lot of different opportunities for these young families. So I think that that's an appeal. I think that we're a progressive city. I think that we try to come up with things for really all ages. It's not easy, but we try to have something for everyone. And I think that as long as we're continuing to grow, continuing to try to move this city forward, we're going to attract young families and people that want to, raise their family here.
Thank you. Dustin, same question. What do you think Weatherford can do to better appeal to young professionals who are making decisions whether to move here and to existing residents deciding whether to leave or stay in our community?
Obviously, we got a great community. We got a great city. Mike said it. We're a very safe city. People can walk down any street in this town and not worry about anything whatsoever. To appeal to the people to stay here, the kids graduating high school, the kids graduating college, it reverts back to the jobs. We don't have the jobs to keep them here. Once again, economic development. We got to find a way to bring in a small company, aerospace. There's different stuff we can look at, but once again, the housing kills us. The housing market kills us. You can't have a blue-collar job and spend $1,800 a month on rent with 2 kids. It just doesn't work. But I believe people want to come here. I believe people sit in other towns and they say, hey, Weatherford is the nicest city. We would love to move there. They are willing to drive. So I believe we're there. We just got to build a little infrastructure, keep them in, keep growing as a city.
Same question, Robbie.
Well, growing up here in Weatherford, and man, I just remember, like Mike was saying, riding my bike, walking, running down to Cash and Carry, getting a piece of bubble gum and all that. That's a lot of stuff. I do see a lot of kids still running around. I know where the current Y is right now, that traffic is going to increase because since you just widen and more trucks are going to be coming in and out of that area. I've noticed kids out there have been running back and forth to ASAP Energy and then back out over to the Y to get their drinks. To get more appealing, man, I'd like to push people to want to stay here. I noticed some people that I've talked to, they moved here to Weatherford because they like the schools, they like the programs, they like what's going on. But then all of a sudden they're like, man, I'm literally scared to drive, like I said again, sometimes at night, a mile down the road to go to the convenience store and turn around and come back. Sometimes that deters some people to where they want to turn around and they want to leave Weatherford. I think they got to find basically the happy medium to where, man, when I was growing up, maybe I didn't see things was going on, but to me, Weatherford was Mayberry. I mean, the police, everybody knew the police, everybody talked to everybody, heck, Jerry's has been there since 1966. Heck, that was my dad's office pretty much. But, man, going down there and talking to the locals, seeing what we could bring in and see what we could get the kids more involved. I know a lot of people, man, going around and knocking on doors, and man, I wish I would have bought stock in Ring doorbell. Man, there's a lot of Ring doorbells, but a lot of people didn't want to answer. I understand some people don't want to talk, but man, back in the day, we knew all the neighbors in the neighborhood. You don't see that anymore, and that's something that get around. I like those nights when downtown, where you could go down, shut the street down and all that stuff and get around and talk. Get more people involved. That's it.
Thank you. And now we have a final question for tonight before we go into closing statements, and it'll first go to Dustin. What public figure, past or present, do you admire most, and how would you try to emulate that person if you were elected to office?
Mine's a weird public figure, and I don't know if I'd want to imitate him going into office. It's my great uncle, which some of you may know the name, some of you may not. But his name's Ira Hayes. He raised the flag at Iwo Jima. I wouldn't say I'd imitate him except for the ruthlessness he had to do what's right. That was the biggest thing about him. He did what he did for the people. Busted his butt and did it for y'all. Did it for me. Did it for all the citizens back then. That's what I'll be doing for the city. I'll be putting 120%, 150, whatever the max number is, to make sure I'm there for the citizens when the citizens need me. That's my promise to you.
Thank you. Robbie, what public figure, past or present, do you admire most, and how would you try to emulate that person if you were elected to office?
Well, he was probably a public figure since he's got his little chair down there at Jerry's and he's up there on their little wall of fame, but obviously was my dad. He had a servant's heart and he would do anything for anybody. And man, he fought tooth and nail. He worked 80 hours a week. That's all he taught me to do was work. He taught me, that's why I carry a job bag in my truck. I can be dressed up nice. I can turn around and go to work right after this. It doesn't bother me. I don't mind getting dirty. He was probably the biggest hero that I had, man, because he would literally give the shirt off his back to anybody. And that's what. As for public figure, as in, I'll go with the president. The one that I admire the most is Harry Truman. That man had to make probably the toughest decision in World War II. He dropped 2 bombs on Japan. And then he turned around and he didn't get the popularity. And so he decided not to run for office again. He stepped away. He turned around and got in his car and drove back to Missouri and left out the rest of his life in Missouri. He didn't really do any public speaking. He didn't go around and he just went home. That man had to live with the tough decision. And he's probably, as in political wise, he's probably the man that I admire the most. That's it.
Thank you. Mike, what public figure, past or present, do you admire most, and how would you try to emulate that person if elected to office?
You know, there's a lot of great figures to look up to out there, and you know, I kind of go back to the people in my life that I've looked to really hadn't been from you know, somebody that was necessarily famous. It's people that I've been around all my life, and you know, I'll probably, as Robbie mentioned, you know, I think about my dad and the influence that he's had on my life, and you know, we didn't have that much growing up, but you know, he taught me to be proud of what we've got, and that hard work is how you move up the chain, and that's, you know, what I've always tried to do, and you know, I'm proud that you know, I'm able to see him every day, and you know, still get wisdom from the experience that he's had at age 93. So you know, I think that there's a lot of people that you know, you can think had an impact on your life, but I'm going to go with my dad as far as the you know, being the public figure. He was you know, went into the service right out of high school, taught, you know, at the Career Tech on a temporary certificate. He and I graduated from college the same year. He went on to get his administrative degree and retired as assistant superintendent at the Career Tech. And, you know, just been a great example of what hard work will do for you and treating people right. And, you know, I think that's what, you know, I want to be able to somebody say the same thing about me one day.
Thank you. I always like asking that question for everyone. It's just a good question to end on before we go to our closing statements. And again, we drew beforehand for the order, and oddly enough, the closing statement order was the exact same opening statement order, which doesn't happen very often, but that's what it was. So 2-minute closing statement for each of you. Thank you all again for being here and taking questions tonight. And our first closing statement comes from Robbie.
Well, my closing statement should have been my opening statement. I'm Robbie Penner. I'm the son of Robert Penner. and the son of Leona Pinner. They came to Weatherford. They have a house on 417 North 3rd Street. My dad and A.J. Sawaski built that house together. That house has been in my dad's name for 60 years, and by golly, I'm going to keep it that way. That's just the way I look at it. I graduated in 97. Like I said, I graduated in SWASU in 2006. I was a volunteer fireman in Weatherford, during the 2000s. I think it was 2001, 2002 to 2008. I also worked for the BIA in industry. I also grew up, knowing plumbing, knowing electrical, and knowing construction. That's where my background, that's what my dad taught me. And he taught me a trade, and I'm thankful for that because guess what? I don't have to call a plumber or electrician to come and fix my stuff. I really enjoy that. I know it saves me money, but I also have the servant's heart. I also have helped people out on certain things because I know some people, they can't make that because they are living on assisted living or they are on Social Security, things like that. And also, I had started in the oil field. Big industry, lots of money run through it. You see a lot of things going on. I also dealt with what we call master service agreements. In short term, we call them MSAs. They're agreements between us and companies so we can turn around and make sure we can get the job done and make sure we agree to the terms. It's things that, we do send to lawyers, which Weatherford does have a lawyer, so they can look at it. But other than that, that's all I got.
Thank you. Mike Brown, closing statement.
Sure. Well, I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce Public Affairs Committee for organizing this forum. I thank you, Jeff Braun, for moderating and asking the questions, and Gary Mall for being the timekeeper. I appreciate my two opponents for throwing their hat in the ring for the office of mayor. We need people that are willing to serve and volunteer to make this community better. Speaking of better, I feel my track record as mayor and city commissioner proves that I can lead this community. When I started as a city commissioner back in 1996, at the age of 40, I had a lot to learn. Under my leadership as mayor for the past 21 years, we've passed 4 Yes Weatherford sales tax initiatives. We've built a new police station, a new fire station, a new indoor soccer facility, new baseball, softball, soccer, and rodeo facilities. We've partnered with the public schools for a new high school track and artificial turf, as well as handicapped bathrooms in the elementaries. We've partnered with the university for the Pioneer Event Center, as well as the under construction Rural Health Center on campus. Other ongoing projects within the city of Weatherford are the new Shooting Star Park across from the Stafford Air and Space Museum, the 12,000 square foot expansion of the new STEM classroom and the event center at the museum, a new community center with indoor-outdoor aquatics, the new splash pad and miniature golf, and $50 million in road projects to be completed this year. Under my leadership, the city's been recognized as one of the fastest growing communities, the safest city in Oklahoma. I received the Mayor of the Year for cities over 5,000 population. The city has been awarded the Innovation Award for cities and towns multiple times, and we hosted the Mayor's Summer Conference for all Oklahoma mayors this past summer. I know all these accomplishments are not because of me serving as the mayor. It's because what the people of Weatherford that live here, their continued support, not only financially but with their time, is what makes us the city that we are. I'm asking for your continued support and vote for me, Mike Brown, to continue as mayor for the city of Weatherford. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Hold your applause. We got one more closing statement from Dustin.
Well, that was a good one. So, guys, thank you for all being out here. Thank you for everybody on the live stream. We've been going at this a little over an hour now. My big deal is, like Mike said, he had a lot to learn when he started. All right. It's time for the next generation to step in and lead this city to success. Obviously, I have a lot to learn. But what I can tell you is the backbone of this community right now, I see a bunch of firefighters back there. Guys, those are the top of the community. The people like that are who we want. If you've ever been in public service, you know it's not for the money. It's to take care of the people that sit in front of you and ask you the questions to help. That's what I'm here for. All I'm asking for is a chance to get in there, help Weatherford grow. I believe we're on a good track, but I believe there's stuff we can do that may be a little better. Obviously, I'm not the best debater or forum person ever. Obviously, Mike took took that just because he's been in here 20 years. He understands the system. But once again, a lot to learn. I will have a lot to learn. But I promise you this, you'll get all my undivided attention. I will make sure what you want as a city is produced. It's not going to be on the backs of just a couple people. We'll figure out how to get the commission meetings set up. We'll figure out how to get people out to vote, and we'll make the city as great as we can make it. I hope to get your vote. That's all I got.
Thank you. Everybody, let's give these candidates a round of applause. I also want to thank all of you for being here. My goodness, do we have, 75 people, do you think? Something like that? This is a great turnout. Parking lot's full. We got a great turnout. Thank you to everyone who's watching this online, listening to the radio. So thank you to Philip Reed and his folks at the Weatherford Daily News, and to Heston, Harold Wright, and Chad and Wright Radio for broadcasting this. Again, election is 2 weeks from today, August 27th. Everybody remember to vote if you live in the city limits. Thank you all for coming tonight.
Thanks for watching our coverage of the Weatherford Chamber's Political Forum. It's been brought to you by CJ Southwest.